Hello and welcome to Greece, Athens, and the Acropolis. First, we walk past the Theatre of Dionysos, which is built sometime during the 5th century BC. Anyway, we continue up towards the Parthenon. And there it is, the Parthenon, an ancient building built around 2,500 years ago. But as you can see, it is a lot in ruin nowadays. But how did it get like that? Well, you see, in 1687, during the Great Turkish War, the Venetians were besieging Athens. And the Turks, well, they decided to use the Parthenon as a gunpowder magazine. And, the Venetians, they hit it with their cannons and the Parthenon, it exploded. Yeah. Anywho, beside the Parthenon, there is another temple named Erestium, which was a temple to the Greek god Athena. It was also built around 2,400 years ago. Now it was time to leave the Acropolis, because someone forgot to bring their water. Cat. And we also decided, of course, to eat some very delicious brunch. Here he is in deep thought, thinking of a sandwich with fries. Then we went on a very important mission. You see, my friend bought a bootleg 1001 game console, and he needed a screwdriver. And well, I don't think he ever tried to actually change the batteries anyway. So yeah, he bought a screwdriver and forgot about it. Anyway, later in the day, we walked to Hadrian's library, which was built by the Roman Emperor Hadrianus in the year 132 AD. Inside the courtyard of Hadrian's library was once a church built called Tetraconus Church. It was built during the 5th century by the Empress Eudocia, or Herculeus the Perfect of Illyricum. But at the end of the 6th century, the church was already in ruin. So a new church was built in the 7th century, and then another church between the 11th and 12th century. Then in 1885, the 12th century church was demolished because they wanted to excavate the site of Hadrian's library. You can still see parts of the church though, from the mosaics on the ground. Like this one. And that one. And also this one. And would you know it? That one too.
Vad sa du säger?
2002.
And this one, which was my friend's favorite.
Okay.
There was also, of course, all the pieces of the ancient library scattered everywhere, like the auditory and the east wings, and all the other rooms. Then, when we walked to the exit, there was another small church that was built into the wall of Hadrian's library. It was built by the noble family Chalcodonly, very little bit difficult to say, in the 12th century. It was called Stakalia, or on the stairs, and then in 1843 it was demolished to excavate the site. Then we continued to the Roman Agora, where I forgot to record the entrance gate, the Gate of Athena Arcades. So here it is in 3D. Anyway, the Agora was built between 27 BC to 17 BC using donations from Augustus because of a promise made by Julius Caesar in 51 BC. There was also a couple of cats here just chilling. There was also this tower called the Tower of the Winds. It was probably built around the 2nd century BC. Inside of this building was a hydraulic machine, which was made to power a water clock, or a planetarium. And also during the Byzantine period, it was used as a church. Then there was this, which was an ancient public toilet. Then we left the Agora to watch some Greek film and eat gyros. Very tasty. The next day we went to the Ancient Agora of Athens, which is pretty big. Anyway, let's go look at the Temple of Hephaestus. Oh look, it's Hadrian. This is the Temple of Hephaestus. It was built between circa 460 to 415 BC. It is the best preserved temple in Greece. In the 7th century it was made into a church, and during the 19th century it was used as a burial place for Protestant and Philhellenes who died in the Greek War of Independence. It was also used to welcome their new king, Otto I. And just walking around, there's many different ancient buildings that stick out of the ground. Like this house here, which is, even though it says Marble Street, it also says it was a prison from the 5th century BC. We also have this house here, which is a Roman house. And in the middle of Agora you can see this long building, which is called a stoa, which is a covered walkway. And the particular one here was built between 180 to 140 BC. And here we got one of those water clocks again. And this is a tholos, which would probably look something like this. And also inside the Agora was the Church of the Holy Apostles from around 1000 AD. This church is the only medieval building left in the Ancient Agora, as of course there used to be many more. It was restored to its original form between 1954 and 1957. And now it was time to go to the restored stoa, which has become a museum. It had some statues, other things, and mosaics like these ones and that one. Then, after leaving the Ancient Agora, we entered the Holy Church of Saint Philip the Apostle at Balsarau, and the church that stands here currently was built in 1961. This is the Temple of Olympian Zeus. Construction started in the 6th century BC, but it wasn't finished until under Emperor Hadrian in the 2nd century AD. It was the largest temple in Greece, and as you can see on this old photo, someone was living on the columns. This is the Parthenon Stadium. The first stadium built here was built in 330 BC, then it was later rebuilt by the Romans in 144 AD. It was later abandoned sometime in the 4th century, and then it was excavated in 1869 to then later be renovated in 1896 for the first modern Olympics in 1896. And then continuing to the archaeological site of Keramekios, where there is an ancient Greek cemetery full of many tombs and statues and things like that. Also in this archaeological site, there are parts of Athens' ancient city wall. And that was my trip to Greece. Thank you for watching.
Ja, det kan det vara.